Sebastian Rogers talk. Let's talk. He's still missing. 15-year-old young man with autism. Vanished. Last seen with his mom, Katie Proudfoot. Stepdad in the mix here. What's going on? We're gonna have some breakfast like we do in the morning and discuss case. Plus, I'm bringing that Louisiana hot sauce to this case. Oh, yeah. We're gonna make this hot and spicy, this segment. Christopher Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot. Oh, they know. Good morning, everyone. They know. Ooh, we're going to make this hot. Oh, they know. The father, the biological father, Seth Rogers, spoke. He actually called into another YouTuber I did listen to. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. But, you know, I was looking at the LinkedIn bios of both Katie Proudfoot and Christopher. And, you know, they're both in the military. Which has me like, But the mother works Brinks Security and also is an electric installation with the military. We're having breakfast. We're hungry for the truth. Here's what's interesting, folks, about this. Now, Christopher Proudfoot is involved with some litigation out there in New Mexico. Oh, and it's juicy. We said on JLR Investigates, we're not going to say who the ex is. I'm not going to say that. But what I'll say is, you can look up that case yourself. It's publicly available. But here's the thing. The day after Sebastian was reported missing, on 2/27/2024, there was a filing in that case with Proudfoot. And in that filing, it says, witness list. Witness list. Now, it's interesting because just 1 month, 2 months, month and a half prior to when Sebastian got missing, in Christopher's case out there in New Mexico, in reference to child custody, DV allegations, really juicy, detailed stuff, which I'm in the process right now of getting copies of. It's public information. And when we get it, we'll share. But just a month and a half prior, Katie Proudfoot files an affidavit in that case. She files an affidavit in this case. I wonder what they were saying. And I find it interesting, folks, that, well, actually 228 witness list, 2 days after. But sometimes people in parts of litigation, they'll file something and it takes days for it to actually officially get it on the docket. What's on that witness list? Because some scenario was presented to me. Is it possible that Sebastian was to be asked about his experience with the stepdads in regards to the hearing about the other child? Was Sebastian on that witness list? And Christopher didn't want Sebastian to say things on the record of what's going on in that household in reference to Christopher's case with the ex and the child custody. Who the ex, by the way, filed an emergency petition just the other day. She wants custody of that child, the child that they have together. Now, Seth Rogers spoke. He says there was video of Katie and Sebastian the night before eating. It's also been revealed, folks, that Christopher was working in Memphis for the prior week. You know anything about that? Day 16 in the search of Sebastian. I have some new information regarding the timeline. Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, spoke last night about the case. This weekend, the weekend of his disappearance, was his mom's weekend to have him. Seth gets him every other weekend. So that's interesting. The weekend that Sebastian went missing, he was with the mom. The next weekend, he goes with the bio dad. Seth had just finished up a 12-hour shift with the Davidson County Sheriff's Department when Chris contacted him about Sebastian being missing. He last spoke with Sebastian on the Thursday prior to his disappearance. So, Katie reports Sebastian missing on the 26th in the morning. According to the stepfather, or according to the father, the biological father, he last spoke to Sebastian on Thursday. So now you got that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Remember, authorities are trying to look a little bit into this surveillance stuff on Sunday the 25th, the day before. This is normal as he allows the mother to have an uninterrupted weekend with Sebastian, and she does the same for him. It is Seth's understanding that Chris, the stepdad, was in Memphis for around a week leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. Now, is there truth to that? The mother, remember the mother, we played the mother's video yesterday where she and Christopher Proudfoot were speaking. They weren't speaking with their faces on camera. But the mother did, I noticed the mother did say she did things with Sebastian the day before. I didn't hear anything about Chris being part of this, whatever was going on Sunday. There is truth to this, that Chris was actually in Memphis. Or could he be confused and Chris actually went that weekend for the following week? So it seems like the biological dad would know. He knows these key details, and he's sharing key details. So that's interesting. Because if Christopher was in Memphis 3.5 hours away, then we're getting into a situation. Is Chris protecting the mom? Or was Chris orchestrating stuff while he was at his work? Or is Chris not involved? Period. But for Chris, knowing that he'd been in numerous marriages, to go to the extreme to cover for Katie, see, in my eyes, I'm feeling Katie is the number one suspect in this. It's like almost the pieces are lining up. That if you could name suspects, and I'm calling Katie and Christopher prime suspects because they're both colluding with each other. One might be the lesser of two evils, but it seems like Christopher is ride or die with Katie on the situation. Katie's the last person to see the kid. The biological father says he wouldn't go out barefooted. He had an ant incident, got bit up by ants. He wouldn't go out there barefooted with a flashlight. It doesn't make sense, folks. So all eyes on Katie. Let's continue. Sebastian was slated to move in with Seth full-time following the conclusion of the school year. So the bio dad is saying in a couple months, when the school year ends, Sebastian would have went into Seth Rogers' home like full custody. So could that be a motive right there for Katie to do something? You're not going to take my boy away. There is camera footage of Sebastian and his mother at dinner Sunday evening. That would be interesting to see. Well, where's this camera footage coming from? People need to ask follow-up questions. Who got this camera footage? Is it camera footage within the house? Because if there's camera footage in the house of the mother and Sebastian, was it in the house? Did they have dinner somewhere else? At the part of going out to get ice cream? There's camera footage of Sebastian and the mother, Katie, Sunday night. So that does narrow the window down, if true. If there's footage, there's actually footage, whether it's at a restaurant, inside their house. But if it's inside their house, you think the footage would have everything that transpired through the night. So I'm thinking with that, it would be somewhere out there. Dairy Queen, Sonic. If that's true, it at least puts Sebastian alive in the evening time on Sunday. So now you got that window. Now you got that 12-hour window. Sunday evening into 6 o'clock. When Katie says she went to go wake him up, thought he was out getting breakfast. She looks around, can't find him. Calls up Christopher, who's 3.5 hours away. And it looks like, according to Seth Rogers, Christopher's the one that called the bio dad to say. Christopher's the one that called the bio dad to say, where's Sebastian? Or Sebastian's gone. The consensus is, because there's some people out there, I've seen comments, that say, look at the bio dad. I don't think the bio dad is involved in any way, shape, or form. He was at the vigil. He's out there searching. He's out there now talking. He's out there bringing awareness. He's a sheriff. He works at the sheriff's office. Looks like he has a solid alibi when he was working. 70 miles away. You got a working alibi, sheriffs and all them. They're all their equipment. They're all being monitored all the time. Brings it back to Katie. And there's no evidence, really. They said something about a scent. But I don't know how true that is, and I don't know how accurate that is. A scent going to a construction around the house or near the house of where Sebastian went missing. But, that's kind of what people are saying, not law enforcement are saying.